Welcome to another Vlogmas where today we're going to talk about the books by my favorites that I haven't read yet. Hello lovely book dragons, welcome back to another Vlogmas video. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Joana and I love to talk about books on this channel. Today I am doing a follow-up video to a video that I posted 2 days ago, which were my favorite fantasy authors that they're auto-buy authors for me. And today I'm going to talk to you about books by those authors that I haven't read yet, so let's go. The first author I mentioned in that video was J Kristoff, and I mentioned that I hadn't read all of his books, and that is true. I have only ever read Empire of the Vampire and the Nevernight series and Aurora Rising. So I haven't finished that series, the Aurora Cycle, is that what it's called? Which he co-authored with Amy Kaufman. I also haven't read his Storm Dancer series or whatever it's called. I haven't read. This one I have zero interest in picking up because it just seems a bit messy. I have no interest in picking this up. The Aurora Cycle, I do want to reread the first one and possibly continue depending on how I feel after rereading the first book. And then what else has he written? Did he write something else that I haven't read? Yeah, he has the Lifelike series where I have no interest in picking that up. So what I was saying in that video 2 days ago was that I love J Kristoff, but I think I only like what he's writing from like after Nevernight forward. All the things that happened before Nevernight, I don't have any interest in, but I do want to pick up the things that he's writing from now on, like now and in the future. So I don't ever think that I will go back and read these books that he has written that I have no interest in, but I will keep him on my radar for the future. Next up was Sarah J Maas, and this one is funny because the series that got me into fantasy, the series that got me into reading was Throne of Glass, and that is a series I haven't finished yet. I have 2 books left, guys. 2. I have Tower of Dawn and Kingdom of Ash left, and I'm so scared to read them. It's just like, it's ridiculous, but maybe with that by the time I post this video, maybe I will have continued in the series. I doubt it because my reading is a bit weird at the moment, and with it being the holiday season, I'm really in the mood for Christmas romances, so I highly doubt that I will have finished Throne of Glass, but I do need it's on my top priority to finish that series because of how much I love it. I've been even rereading it last year and this year to finish it out, and I still haven't, so definitely need to read Tower of Dawn, Kingdom of Ash. And then the other book by her that I haven't read yet is Catwoman. I don't want to read this. I have zero interest in this book that has nothing to do with her main series, so I will not be picking this book up. Next up was Josiah Bancroft, and I'm happy to report I've read everything he has written that I know of. He is known for the Books of Babel. I think that was his debut. Or did he write something obscure before? I don't think so. At the moment of filming this video, I'm reading the last book, Fall of Babel. By the time you see it, I will have finished. So there are no books by Josiah Bancroft that I haven't read. Next up is Laini Taylor, and here I have yet to finish the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy with the last book. I have, I think, like 70% of the last book left for 10 years. So in reality, I will have to reread the second book and the third book because I reread the first book a few years ago and I still remember it quite vividly. So I don't think I have to reread that one. But yeah, I will have to reread the second one, which is it Blood and Starlight? Yeah. And then Dreams of Gods and Monsters. And I haven't read her Lips Touched 3 Times short story collection. So that is the one I have left to read by her. And I think that's it. I don't think she's written anything else that I haven't read. So not too bad, not too bad. I can catch up with her books quite easily. But just rereading those books is kind of like a bit scary because they're a bit older. But I do want to finish out that trilogy because of how much I loved it. And it's one of the first fantasy series I read when I started reading fantasy after reading Sarah J Maas. So I do want to finish it. Next up we have Gwynne. I love Gwynne. By him I still have 4 books left. I have the second trilogy in the Banished Lands world that I have yet to read. So he wrote the Malice, the Faithful and the Fallen Quartet, which I have read. And then he wrote Of Blood and Bone, which is a trilogy set in that same world, but years after the events of Wrath. I was gonna read that this year, but I was so scared to suffer again, and I kind of wanted to save some Gwynne for a rainy day. And I haven't read the trilogy yet, but I definitely will make this a priority in 2022 to read this book and to catch up with his works. And I also haven't read Shadow of the Gods, which is his newest release, the 2021 release. Haven't read that yet. And then maybe the second book will come out in 2022. I don't know. I hope so. Ooh, then I have Robin Hobb, and she's definitely the one where I have most books left to read. I have only read, so this is easier to say what I have only read. I've only read the Farseer trilogy and the first book in the Life Ship Traders at the time of filming. So I have a lot left. Like I think the Realm of the Elderlings is 16 books and I have read 4. Plus there's like short stories, plus she has companion novels. I have a lot to read by Robin Hobb and her books are huge. So I have a lot to read, but I'm very excited for it because I know that her books are phenomenal and fantastic and I should just stop leaving these authors' works unread because I love these authors. Why am I not reading all their works? I need to stop reading other things, okay? I just need to get back to these authors that I love so much and get caught up on all their works because of how much I love them. That's it. Goal for 2022. Then we have Abercrombie, and at the moment of filming, I'm still reading Sharp End, which is his short story collection that is kind of bridging the First Law standalones and then the Age of Madness. So maybe by the time you're watching, I will have finished, who knows, but I have that book left to finish, and then I have the whole Age of Madness trilogy left to read, and I have his YA series, the one with half a king, half a world. I've heard mixed things about that one because it is YA, but I do enjoy reading YA books. I love Joe Abercrombie, so I will know to kind of adjust my expectations to this book, but I'm very excited to get to all of his works in the next year. There's definitely a goal. I want to catch up on Joe Abercrombie as well because of how much I love his works, and I can't wait to see what he's going to write next. Then we have R.F. Kuang, and I've read everything she has put out except for the short stories set in her Poppy War world because did I pick? No, I don't think I've picked them up. I still have those to read. I don't know if I ever will pick them up. I don't really count short stories and or novellas except for the Joe Abercrombie because it does really bridge the time between the series. But yeah, I don't know if I will read the novellas, but I haven't read those yet. Other than that, I have read the Poppy War trilogy, and that was her debut trilogy, so I've read everything she has written, which is a win. Brandon Sanderson, as much as he's my favorite author, there's quite a bit by him that I haven't read because the man writes like a madman. He has so many books out. There's so many books I have to read because he writes. The man writes. I haven't read Elantris. I haven't read I think it's Dark One or something, like a lot of his graphic novels I have read White Sand now, but I haven't read this one, the Dark One or whatever it's called. I haven't read, I've read Steelheart, but I haven't finished that series. So I have Firefight and Calamity left to go, and any short stories in that world. By the time of filming, I still have Starsight, Cytonic, and the novellas in that world left, but by the time you're seeing this, I should be all caught up with the Skyward series because I'm making it my priority for November and December. So I should be fine with Skyward by the time you're watching. By the time I'm filming, not yet. I still have quite a way to go in that world. Then I have not read any of his Alcatraz books. I haven't read the Stephen Leeds book. I haven't read the Wheel of Times book that he wrote. I also haven't read, there's something else he wrote. Rhythmatist. I also have not read The Rhythmatist. So I have a lot by him to go. Basically, I read almost all of his Cosmere except for Elantris and like some of the short stories in the Cosmere, which is why I'm hosting Cosmere Unbounded, because I want to catch up with the Cosmere. I want to read everything in the Cosmere and reread everything in the Cosmere. I haven't read Bands of Mourning by the time of filming this. Oh my goodness, I still need to do that. Oh my gosh, I'm so behind on my own readathon. I have quite a bit of Brandon Sanderson left, but that is because the man writes like no other. He publishes like so much, I don't know, like, will I ever be able to catch up with Brandon Sanderson? That is the question. And my last author in that list was S.A. Chakraborty, and at the time of filming, she hasn't published anything since the Daevabad trilogy, so I have read everything she's written. She's coming out with a short story collection in that world, which I definitely will read, and she's coming out with like a pirate fantasy story, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm so excited for that. I will of course pick those up, but I am all caught up with the works that she has published as of right now. So that's it. Those are the books by my faves that I haven't read. Definitely Brandon Sanderson takes the cake, and or Robin Hobb. Probably Brandon Sanderson. That's more books than Robin Hobb. But those two are my top. Like, I have so many books by them left to go. And then Abercrombie and Gwynne, I have quite a bit still to go. So let's get caught up. Let's get caught up with those authors. And yeah, those are the books by my faves that I haven't read. What are some books by your faves that you have yet to pick up? There's actually no reason I haven't picked these up. That is something I want to say. It's not like, except for J. Christoph, where I mentioned that I don't want to read certain of his books. All the others are just because either the books are very big, and so time commitment issues, or because I'm saving them for a rainy day, which is kind of silly. I just need to read the books that I know I will love. So those are the only reasons I haven't read those books. Not because of like, oh, I'm not interested in their series, or I'm scared they won't be good, because not at all. It's just that I'm somehow saving them for a rainy day. It's rainy outside. Let's go pick them up. That is going to be it from me today, guys. Let me know in the comments down below, like I said, what are some books by your favorites that you haven't read. And if you just want to let me know that you were here, leave the Christmas tree emoji as always. We will see each other in 2 days for my next Vlogmas video. Until then, happy holidays, stay safe, and happy reading. Bye, guys.